Haney Biz presents Entrepreneurs Unlimited. Here's your host, Mark Haney.
Welcome back, and we are here with Mitch Gardner and Rob Richardson, the founders of PocketPoints. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right, now, two young guys. My understanding is you guys have built a business that forces, or I would say encourages, college students to turn off their phones while they're in class. Is that about the size of it?
Yep, sounds about right.
All right, so Mitch, I'll start with you. Now, we got Mitch and Rob. Now, you guys are the co-founders of PocketPoints. Mitch, who does what around there? How do you guys get this thing going?
Oh, we just party all day.
You guys...
no, Rob and I, we first started, and Rob was a computer science major, and I was a business marketing major at Chico State.
Okay.
And, it's kind of the perfect combination, right?
Computer science meets marketing.
Right,
yes.
right.
Okay, love it.
So, Rob's the genius in the house, and he put together the app, and we started going around and talking to teachers and talking to focus groups and figuring out what really we could do. And at first we thought it might be something for the teachers to use as an incentive to keep students off their phones and maybe give extra credit or in-house incentives. And we decided to do a little bit of a pivot and work with the small businesses in the community. So we realized these small businesses are doing coupons in magazines and newspapers, and we're thinking coupons they kind of have a negative connotation, right? It's like your mom's cutting a coupon out of the paper and putting it on the fridge.
Yeah, like a cheapskate.
Right. And no one uses coupons. But we knew college students like free food, obviously.
Yes.
Right?
You guys get hungry.
Exactly. So we figured, well, we could do that. We could do coupons, but we'll make them a little bit more interactive and 21st century, right?
Right.
And so we started working with some small businesses and got some great deals on the app and launched at Chico State, and it's been phenomenal ever since.
Paying people to pay attention in class. I could have used that. I can't lie. Now, Rob, you are the genius behind the technology. How did you put this together?
Yeah, so when Mitch and I first met, we had done a couple things in the past. I had made a couple apps in the past and just knew that, something could be done. And Mitch being really involved with the community in the school and the business team, that we got really close with the entrepreneurship club on campus. So we had a lot of people helping us out from day one. And we've failed in the past. We've had, our failures. So we knew, let's try to do as much as we can. Let's get as much input, as much help, as much advisors as we can, and had a lot of people pulling for us. So we really just put our heads to it, and college was the time that we could spend a lot of effort without a lot of downside and negative. So
right, the startup costs were really low for us.
Yeah, but one of the guys you brought in was a guy named Dave Sanders. You guys ever heard of that guy before?
No, never.
We got Dave sitting right over here next to us, who is a well-known angel investor. Dave, jump into the conversation here. What prompted you to get involved in PocketPoints?
Well, there's a entrepreneur that happens to live in Chico by the name of Chris Friedland, who has been a serial entrepreneur. Most recently started a company called Build.com that competes aggressively with Amazon, believe it or not. And it was through our relationship with Chris that we got introduced to these guys. So we came in fairly early in the process. What would be interesting is to get their perspective over and above the money side of the equation. As you guys were looking to raise capital, tell us a little bit about what that experience was and how much the money meant to you versus other things that came as a result of some of the relationships that you built.
Right. I think a lot of people just hear about the money side when thinking about raising capital, and it's obviously the money. You need cash, right? Cash is king to grow your business, to do anything, to hire people. And what we've realized in this process is it's more important to bring on the right people as far as your investor, because there's money all over the place, right? You can get anyone to give you money, but you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen. You want the right people and the right team, and we've been so fortunate because, like Dave was saying, Chris Friedland, who's just such a brilliant entrepreneur with Build.com, and he's had other successful ventures. Being our first investor has really guided our thinking because we're so young, right? We're just out of college and we were in college when we started, and so we needed that guidance and that help. And having the right investors at the right time for us really made us, swim in a situation where it was sink or swim.
Well, you talk about complementary strengths. So you and Rob obviously have complementary strengths.
Right.
There's not as much overlap as with some business partners. But then you bring on the financial side of things. Who does what around there? Your marketing, your technology, and then the advisory group. Do you have a board of directors?
Yeah, so we didn't have a board. Well, it was just Rob and I on the board for a while, just keeping it really simple. And lately we've put together a board, because we're obviously growing the company and just got to formalize things a little bit. And Chris is on our board, and we've been talking with a really great guy who Dave introduced us to, Craig Lavra, who's used to be the CEO of Sports Chalet and president for a while, and we're probably going to end up bringing him on the team, and so that's been really great. But as far as marketing and computer science, we have a really, really great team, right? A few of the guys are actually in the building right now, and
I see some of your team. How many guys you have? How many teammates you got?
We've got 15 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So one thing, I was talking about it last night. We had to hire really fast, and we had to hire inexperienced people, right? Just like Rob and I. And we could have gotten in a lot of trouble by hiring the wrong people, but we've been really fortunate to hire people that we believe they would be good, but they actually were good, know?
Yeah.
So,
and they share your commitment to building something. Now, where do you guys see this business going over the longer term? Where you brought in a foundational team that is committed to a vision. What's that vision?
Yeah, so for us, when we started the app in the company, it was the distractions of cell phones. Phone usage is so prominent in everyday life, and Mitch and I saw that in person, being in the classroom in lectures of 150, 200 students, where half of the students are looking down on their cell phones, and we realized, okay, this is a problem we clearly see now, and we can solve this issue, and that's how we launched it. We did focus groups, found out how can we minimize the issue, and realizing that once we launched it, that this thing is bigger than just in the classroom. Phone usage is huge at the dinner table, in any social settings. And so that's where we, really want to take this company and know that, there is a time for technology. Technology is great. We're using technology to stay off technology. So we have to have, the balance of technology and not technology. So we've, really think that there's a time for it and a time not for it. And we're really pushing for, incentivizing, that perfect scenario in everyone's mind.
So the scalability is really around keeping people off of their phone. I call my telephone. Keeping people off their mobile phone.
Right.
And obviously in class, we want to keep our children or our students off of the phone. Now, where else would you want to keep people off the phone? What are you thinking?
Right. So, we're obviously focused on the college market, right? And it's been great for us because we were in college and we knew exactly how to attack that market and address those users. And we're going to stay focused on that. But there are those other areas where we can implement PocketPoints. And we're going to be running a few pilot tests here and there, because we want people to be able to use PocketPoints before college and after college, right?
Oh, okay.
So, the easy one is high schools, right? High schools is big for us. And then, when you get out of college, everyone goes and gets a job. And when you're working a job, you can't be messing around on Facebook or Snapchat or whatever.
Right.
But people still are.
So turn off your phone when you get into class, and then if they turn off their phone, then you would reward them with not a coupon, some free food.
Yeah, we don't call them coupons, we call them gifts.
Gifts.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I love it. Wow. I could definitely see that working, say, in a call center environment, and you've got to keep people, production-wise at their highest level.
Every minute's, pennies and dollars. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, as an investor, how am I going to see a return? How is a guy like Dave going to see a return on this?
Well, just with any business, right? An investor is going to see a return when you either IPO or have an acquisition. So it's not any different with us, right?
What's the plan?
Well, everyone always asks, what would you rather do, IPO or acquisition? It's like, well, I think that's one of those good problems. Right?
You guys are living the dream. How old are you guys?
I'm 15.
I'm 21 and Mitch is 22.
21 and
23. Come on.
Oh, 23.
I keep telling people it's my Jordan year. It's my Jordan year. I'm 23.
I mean, you guys are living the dream. Chico State, partying Mitch is partying all the time. I think Rob's doing all the work. I just have that sense that
Rob's the sober one. In
I just have that sense that Rob's getting all the work done, and Mitch is out there making all the sales. But you guys are living the dream. I mean, people talk about doing what you guys are doing all the time, but a lot of times it's talk. Right. It takes some ingenuity and some huevos and some, gumption.
Well, we've always talked about it, and the biggest thing, or the most important thing that we did when we started, is we took action. We were very action oriented, and whenever there was anything that needed to be done, right from the very beginning. Whether it be going and filing our LLC papers or going and printing out stickers or whatever it was, little things, we always did them right away.
And when we started this, we knew that, the idea and planning and all of the business model and planning, that's all talk and nothing can ever come of that unless you execute on it. So we know that, a great idea is worthless until someone executes it. So we knew that a lot of people, want to be in a situation like this and struggle to start a company. And the biggest thing is that you just got to go. You got to do it. And us being so inexperienced and not knowing rules actually has helped us out a lot. And, we can break things and do things and learn on the job. So it's great.
A great idea is worthless unless you go get it done. Right. Rob, I know we're recording this. I'm going to write that down on my wall. I love it. Words of wisdom from Rob Richardson. I want to thank you and Mitch for coming on the show. I want to thank Dave for joining us as well. Dave Sanders, angel investor. And I really look forward to watching your guys' progress and watching you guys build something right there out of Chico. Really, really cool. And I may have to come see you as a customer to keep our employees are 100% productive. But in case we ever ran into any that needed to be monitored, we would come see you guys.
Give us a call.
We'll give you a call.
You won't have to travel quite so far in the future to go find them either.
So I want to thank. I got somebody saying something here. Oh, you guys. Okay, so there's somebody holding up a sign over here that's prompted me to ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
What would it take to get you guys to commit right now on the show?
No, I will not marry you.
To moving to Sacramento, moving the business to Sacramento, and then marrying me. Okay, let's just go with the move to Sacramento. Okay, Mitch is already he takes the date to a new level right off. Okay, Rob, maybe I should work with you on this. What's it going to take to get you guys to move to Sacramento?
Well, Sacramento is great. We've been here. We took the company here yesterday and had a great tour of Sacramento. Dave's been really pushing for us, and we've had a lot of people on our side in Sacramento, and we love the city. And we just really want to make sure that it makes sense for our business in the long term. And we're trying to do the best thing for our business and trying to put our biases aside. So whether it's Chico or Sacramento, we know that we want what's best for our business. So we're really pumped about Sacramento and love the city. And it definitely can be a great opportunity for us to grow into.
That's great. And we would welcome you guys with open arms. Mitch, I'm going to be a little careful welcoming you. It sounds like we might have a little connection going on. I don't want to make my wife is listening. I don't want her to get jealous. So anyway, thank you guys for being on the show. Dave, thanks for investing in these guys. They're a lot of fun. I know that it's got to be fun working with you guys. So hopefully you guys end up staying in touch. So we look forward to that. I want to thank our sponsor, Limitless Limo, which I think you guys would enjoy as well. Limitless Limo, LL916.com. That's where the big dogs like to ride. Even 6'4" Snoop Dogg enjoys Limitless when he is in town. Next week, we have Dave Lucchetti coming up. Dave is the longtime president and chairman of Pacific Coast Building Products. Pacific Coast and its affiliate companies are well respected as a shining example of corporate citizenship. Also next week, we are going to meet my good friend, Michelle Halston. She is an M&A attorney. She knows everything related to business, and she's going to share her information about guys like you that are building startups. She represents a number of guys like yourself who are doing startups, and she does mergers, acquisitions, and all kinds of stuff. So Tom, how much time we got in this segment? We are out of time. We are going to be back in just a minute with some closing thoughts about building your brand. I'm Mark Haney. This is Entrepreneurs Unlimited on Sports 1140 KHTK, streaming live, podcast, and YouTube at haneybiz.com. And welcome back. You know, I had a good time with these with all the guests today. Very fun and energetic group, and it really makes you think about, you know, that's something that you need to do as a business. You got to have fun. And so, you know, at our companies, we're throwing a party where people love to come. And these catchphrases, they're important in shaping the culture. They're important with the connection that you have with your team, with anybody you're trying to influence. And so as we think about influence, you know, it's that connection that makes such a difference. And, you know, last week we were talking about the power of with, and we were talking about hometown patriotism, which is near and dear to the hearts of the Allegiant Giving Partners, my companies, and it made me kind of think about a few things that I didn't get a chance to get out last week. And the Allegiant Giving Partners, we're working on some scholarship stuff right here in our area, and we're going into schools and we're picking out leaders and we're giving them scholarships, because the leaders, like these guys from PocketPoints, these leaders these guys when they were in high school, these are the leaders of our community, of our country. And if we can identify those young leaders early, recognize them early, reward them with scholarships or funding opportunities like what Dave Sanders has done, man, that makes it such a much stronger community. I mean, those are the kind of guys you want living next door to you. Those are the kind of guys that you want to be around. They're good for our community. They're driving innovation. They're going to be driving jobs. They're not just good for the economy. They're good for the community. And I think as Allegiant Giving Partners, we're going in and we're recognizing those leaders in the high schools. We're working with Roseville High School. We're working with Rockland High School. We're working with Lincoln High School. And the Allegiant Giving Partners, these small businesses and larger businesses as well, we're going in and we're identifying those guys. So I want to thank Jerry Wallace in particular for helping launch that Allegiant Giving scholarship program, where we're going in and finding tomorrow's leaders. A lot of times scholarships are based upon academic stuff, or they're based upon, you know, being a great football player. Well, our scholarships are about leadership. We're about like Mitch and Rob. It doesn't matter if you're a straight A guy or the captain of the football team. If you're a leader, that comes out like it did today with these guys. And, you know, the other thing about that I didn't mention last week in talking about hometown patriotism, you know, I talked about, you know, people go off to war. That's patriotism. And as you really understand what that is, it gives you a better sense as to what true patriotism is all about. But hometown patriotism, there's guys that are not going off to war, that are too old or are just not meant to be going into the service, but they can still do something. We can all do something. And, you know, my mom fell over the weekend. And my mom, she's been sick for a long time, but she fell, and my sister, I was coming back from Vegas, and I wasn't there, and I just got to thank my sister for taking her to the emergency, or they called the ambulance and they took her to the emergency room, and they took her over to Kaiser. And they have a tagline that's Thrive over there at Kaiser. And you drive down the billboard, and it's kind of motivational to see that Kaiser Thrive tagline. But they were living it. When I got over there, coming back from Vegas, there was a nurse, Gail Sims. Her shift ended at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. She's in the middle of the night taking care of my mom, making sure that my mom can move around and, you know, and be a little bit more comfortable. And, you know, these people that work in the emergency rooms at 3 a.m, you know what? You looked at the doctors, the nurses, the people that are staying up all night to help people that are having a tough time. In my book, that's hometown patriotism, right? Patriotism it shows up in different ways. And, you know, I just want to thank Kay Sims was her name, or Gail Sims, I'm sorry, was her name, and never met her before, but the nicest lady in the world. You know what? She didn't have to do that, but some people choose to give of themselves. And I think that's what the power of with is all about. That's what this show, we're trying, we know a little bit about coaching football. We know a little bit about building businesses. But you know what? Together, we can build a community that's different, that's special, that puts our region on the map as something different. And, I just got to say, you know what? As we look at this, catchphrase day and how we decided to talk about that today. At the end of the show, every week we talk about this. We mention this one catchphrase, and it's every time, and I think it's who we are to our core. And it came from my son Marcus, and as he was getting ready to the night before they deployed to Afghanistan, we were buying dinner. And I was buying dinner for all these Marines as they were getting ready to ship out for war. And I gave this I felt it was pretty motivational speech. A lot of people crying. And at the very end, my son Marcus gets up and says to his brothers and to their families, he says, "You know how we do it, guys." And he held up his mug. He held it up high in the air. He says, "You know how we do this, you guys." And he said, "Never above you, never below you, always by your side." And we live by that.